In just over 48 hours, with all things being equal, the All Progressives Congress plans to hold a primary election which aims at producing the party's presidential candidate for next year's general election. 13 aspirants have been cleared to stand for the exercise, according to the chairman of the party's screening committee, John Odige Oyegun, who spoke on Friday after submitting the final list to the National Working Committee in Abuja. He didn't mention names. At the moment, however, all the aspirants are busy making last-minute pitches to voting delegates, including the governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi, who has thus far anchored his campaign on infrastructural development, agriculture, and security. For a bit more introspection, we are now being joined by Uchenna Orji, who is Ebonyi State Commissioner for Information and Orientation. We'll have a session with his Commissioner for Information, Uchenna Orji, and focus will be on what his governor's plans to bring to the table across all the critical sectors of the economy if he gets a chance to fly APC's flag and wins the presidential election. Good morning, Mr. Orji. Good to have you join us on the morning show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I mean, it's always good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner. We had you the other time, and what we discussed at that time, of course, things have evolved. And now we're barely 48 hours from the primaries. First thing is that, that 10 aspirants have been disqualified. Are you sure, or do you have information that your man, your principal, Governor David Umahi, is among the 13 that will run at the primaries on Monday? And secondly, what do you think will be his chances, given the fact that, the agitation for microzoning the candidacy to the Southeast looks like he's waning, with the PDP giving their own ticket to a northerner? What are your thoughts on this?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let me first of all say that the news of disclosing the list of those qualified belongs to the national party leadership. I've got no capacity, I've got no idea. But following from what the chairman of the panel did mention yesterday, raising standards or parameters or yardsticks for arriving at who should be the standard bearer of APC, I think my governor has greater and brighter chances. When the chairman talked about a younger person, a person that has track records of excellence, when he said that this time around we're not going to just close our eyes and elect or choose anyhow, that is going to be based on evidential track records of performance. And when he said that issues of zoning and concerns of equity are also on the front burners, I think that my governor does properly fit into these parameters. So having said that, we will be waiting for the national leadership of the party to disclose their list. But it is our prayer, the prayer of Nigerians, that our governor does make the list. Having said that, what are his chances? Going by the parameters raised by the chairman of the panel, and going by the agitations of the people of Nigeria, issues of answers, issues of concerns of regional concerns, disturbances here and there, I think the governor of Ebonyi State, His Excellency Engineer Chief David Umahi, is actually the right or person to be there. I said this because going by performance, which you see in the screen of televisions, including Arise, you will see that the governor is unbeatable, is the person to beat. And within 7 years, I can say that the governor has made a very huge difference that I would say is rare to be recorded in Africa. And so if you can get such a person on board to come on board at a higher level, I'm sure the world leaders will be surprised what is going to happen in Nigeria under his reign. I think that we need to really look critically into what all the aspirants have on ground. The positions they occupied before, or the positions they are occupying, what have they done with it? That will help us to really determine where we are going. The issue of the candidate of PDP, one would say that they got it wrong. Because by zoning, by agitations, by all the issues, even by the character, of the presidential candidate of PDP, one would say that if you give our governor a ticket, by 12 noon, he would have beaten His Excellency Atiku Abubakar to a standstill, and the APC would have taken the victory. And that is as sure as tomorrow's sun, if that does happen. So I am saying that the governor is very much prepared by God. When he was a party chairman, he became the first party chairman to build a party office that is the biggest today in the whole of Africa, the biggest. When he became deputy governor, he stood low, very loyal person, who was cracking the hardest kernel of his boss. So loyalty is his watchword, commitment to duties. And when he became governor, he became the first deputy governor to become governor at the stiffest opposition of his boss. And we didn't know God was preparing him to make Ebonyi State to be a signpost of excellence. Today, if you go to Ebonyi State, you would think you are in London, or you are not in Africa after all. And people have been giving testimonies about this. And I can say that in the area of infrastructure, which is part of the bane of our development, we don't have good infrastructure, road infrastructure, transportation infrastructure. There are also critical areas that would need to be addressed in Nigeria. The governor has squarely addressed that in Ebonyi State. If you go to areas, issues of economic facilities that will trigger job creation, wealth creation, self-reliance on the side of the inhabitants of the society, you will see the governor has done well in Ebonyi State. If you go to the area of education, you will see that he has fantastically done well. He has raised Ebonyi State from being educationally less privileged state to being one of the 10 best states in the whole of the federation. If you go to health, both the primary, secondary, and tertiary healthcare facilities has raised to ensure that we are on top in the area of healthcare service delivery. And I think that if the governor brings all of these things on board at a higher level, Nigeria will be better for it. In the area of security, you will agree that Southeast has had a fair share of insecurity, but in Ebonyi State is an exception. When they do sit at home, Ebonyi State doesn't know that. It's not a magic. It's because the governor is one that believes in bottom-top approach to issues of insecurity. Engagement processes, not necessarily militarizing the place, but ensuring that he engages. He gives motivation, tells the people, if you can come out, you get rehabilitated, you get olive branch, and we will empower you. These are the incentives before the people, and that is why they believe that even if they are causing crisis anywhere in Southeast, it shouldn't be in Ebonyi State, where the governor has demonstrated passion for service to humanity. And I can tell you that every sector is working in Ebonyi State. Of course, human capital development has really risen. If I tell you the performance index of the governor within the last 7 years, you marvel. Ebonyi State, that is the poorest state in terms of federal allocation, is now is said to be the fastest developing state in the whole federation by budget office. Ebonyi State is said to have invested the highest capital in capital development, the highest budget in capital development as against the current budget. And so these are the things that are accounting for the governor. The governor of Ebonyi State is said to have the lowest debt profile in the whole of the Southeast. And it has the best, one of the 3 best in the whole federation. So all of this is show that the governor can do better if he is given the opportunity to be president of this country.
All right. Talking about the opportunity, Mr. Orji, a question you didn't get a chance to address thoroughly the last time you were with us. Would you say that your principal, Governor Umahi's proximity to President Buhari is strategic in any way? I mean, he does appear to have the president's attention or interest, judging, for instance, by the number of visits the president has made to your state. Could he be the anointed candidate? What do you think?
Well, I don't know, but we are praying that he becomes. But one thing is that Mr. President is a very disciplined, God-fearing man. And I begin to get surprised when somebody says he made him president. This man was a head of state before he became president in 2015. And so if there was any person that made anybody anything, it was Mr. President that made those other people that said they made him. And so he's a man that believes in the unity of this country. And as a sitting president, he believes that are going forward that the future of this country must be better, and that is by ensuring nation building, equity, or ensuring justice, ensuring fair play in the political equation in the country. So coming to the issue of his regular visit to Ebonyi State, yes, we are actually very happy about that. It shows that Mr. President loves our governor. In 2016, when we were in opposition party, of course, you know the reason, Mr. President came, and Ebonyi became the first state he came and slept over, relaxed, slept over, talked with the leaders of the state outside his home state, Kasnu State. And again, he made it again in the second tenure of our other governor. Almost the same period, he came again and slept over in the south. He has never slept over in any other state in the south still today, except in Ebonyi State. For me, and from what we are seeing, from the testimonies from people, prominent Nigerians, I'm sure Mr. President is happy that his son, the governor of Ebonyi State, is doing fantastically well, not only in infrastructure, but also in human capital development. As a very loyal person that believes in inclusive governance, when he became governor in 2015, even though the party he belonged to at that time collapsed at the center, he still went ahead to work with Mr. President. He would always say the president is the father of the nation, and so he has got no excuse not working with him. When people were cajoling him, you belong to this party and you're working with the other party, he said, no, I believe in inclusive politics and governance. And for me, fairly speaking, that would have also given him an edge, advantage in terms of endearing himself to the heart of Mr. President.
All right, Mr. Orji, in 48 hours is down to the wire, and is down to the delegates, choosing who the flag bearer will be. My question to you is, what are the chances of Governor Umahi against those that are seen to be the front runners, the first five, if you like, your Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the vice president, governor of Ekiti, Fayemi, Rotimi Amechi, Lawan, for example. And then if you also have to drill down to the competition from the southeast, you have the former, he has resigned, a minister for state for education, Uwajuba, who's also running. You have Senator Okorocha, who's running. And you have the gentleman that many people silently think that he might be the dark horse, Dr. Bunaya Onu, given his loyalty, given his long-standing relationship with the president from AMPP since 2013 when the idea of APC came up. People think that Ubunaya Onu might as well, spring a surprise. What are the chances of Governor Umahi against these people, even though we still do not know who the last 13 will be, possibly by tomorrow or by Monday morning, we will know. But what will be his chances, and then what is he doing to ensure that the sort of apprehension that the fellow Ebonyi man, former Senate President Pius Ayim had when he felt that the delegate list from Ebonyi had been doctored. And we saw what happened to the delegate from the Southeast. Not even up to half of the delegates from the Southeast voted for candidate from the Southeast. How do you think that this will be different for Governor Umahi and for people coming from Southeast on Monday when APC will be choosing its candidate?
Yeah, I have to draw the strength of my reaction to the consensus building that Mr. President has initiated. Don't forget, you don't have any reason to compare PDP with APC. PDP has got no leadership. PDP is heading to a total collapse, doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. The double jeopardy for them. I can tell you that in APC, there is no room for purchasing of votes, where delegates are meant to determine the fate of more than 200 million number Nigerians. It's not going to be a joke. For APC, they know that they are the right people to be there in 2023, so they must do what Nigerians will appreciate. In the case of PDP, the votes were purchased everybody, all the aspirants knew about that. In fact, I've been mentioning that.
But you can't prove that. You can't prove that, Mr. Orji. EFCC was at the.
That's what I said. I am quoting aspirants. I am quoting PDP presidential aspirant who came and said that the votes were purchased. If you want me, I will mention names, including Ohuabonwa and many others. Some also have been saying that they can be part of that. So in APC, I can assure you that votes will not be purchased because we have got leadership. And that is what Mr. President has initiated so that there will be a consensus build is part of the democratic process. Is the best you can see in a democratic process. And given that, I can tell you that my governor will have brighter chances. Of course, he doesn't have money, but he has God, he has the people, he has his work that is speaking for him. So it is up to Nigerians to decide. If they want business as usual, if they want money to determine who becomes president, then count us out. But if they want performance to transform this nation so that in the continental discourse, what leaders can say that Nigeria has come to be as the leader of the continent. And that is the dream of my dear governor, to build a nation of our pride. And he has got the indices. He's looking at policies and programs that will tackle the issue of unity, for us to be more united as a nation, nation-building principles. He's looking at tackling the issue of insecurity by bottom-top approach, by engaging the people, by fortifying the security and motivating them to work better, by ensuring patriotism and commitment on the part of the people. He's also working on ensuring that corruption is tackled. Corruption is one of the cankerworms. Corruption and insecurity are the two cankerworms that are eating deep into the fabrics of the economy of our nation. And what he did in Ebonyi State is to ensure that there is transparency, there is accountability, there is probity in the transactions of government. And that is why even the budget office said that he is the best governor in the area of transparency. And of course, even the Human Rights Commission has given him an award as the best in the area of transparency, so you can understand. And that is the reason for what we are getting, what we are achieving in Ebonyi State, that corrupt-free kind of leadership. And so this is what is going to bring on board. Now, it's going to tackle education. It's looking at fortifying the education system. Every state should have a model school, secondary school, a model primary school, a model tertiary institution that will compete with that of the world. The same thing in the area of health. If you see what he did in the area of health, he's having Africa's most beautiful and biggest University of Medical Sciences. I'm sure you must have seen that in the screen. And he's also having what to call a single biggest hospital emergency complex, which he built and donated to federal government free of charge, millions of naira. He's also having what we call School of Nursing and Midwifery that he conceptualized and built and completed that will raise the human capital, that is the medical capital that will address medical issues. Of course, the general hospitals talking about the secondary healthcare facilities. Of course, the primary healthcare facilities in each of the wards are in place working in Ebonyi State. Of course, given the fact that he had to interconnect Ebonyi State to make Ebonyi State a global village. So you can have access to all of these facilities without much ado. And so this is exactly the concept he has for Nigeria. I can tell you, give our governor an opportunity and there will be a great difference. He said, just give Southeast one tenure. If they don't prove their worth, then you know that we are not serious. And I can tell you that just put him on board there and the difference will be made.
All right, Honorable Commissioner, just a quick one. From what you have said, should we take it from you that Governor David Umahi is not that sole aspirant that former Governor Yegun referred to as the person who refused the party's likelihood of picking a consensus candidate only if is the consensus? Should we take it from you that Governor Umahi will not mind a consensus candidate if that is the wish of the President of the Republic?
My dear Governor is a very loyal party man who believes in the authority of the leadership of the party he does belong. And whatever the party says, he will abide by. He actually mentioned that to the party, to the panel, the screening committee. Whatever is the decision of the party, he's going to abide by that. And that has been his position. You can see that the kind of noise people are making in the media, billboards everywhere, electronic billboards. One would say, if they are spending this kind of money in putting up billboards there and there, how much are they going to use to develop our country? Our people have to be wiser now. So we should look at people like this. Our governor has done his best. If you want to know what it's made of, come to Ebonyi State. As of his national contributions in national executive NEC meetings and national assignment that is given, ask what are his contributions. Not to go among billboards everywhere. So whatever the party decides, he will abide by. That is one. Number two, some people are raising sentiment that if you bring another that the person will beat APC, maybe a presidential candidate of APC that is zoned to South. It is far from that. The party system does not contemplate all of this North-South dichotomy. No, we're only appreciating North-South diversities. There's a difference between the two. And so if you pick somebody from the South, the whole North in APC will vote the person. That has been the trend. In 1999, somebody from West was brought by the party at the center, PDP at that time. The entire Southeast voted, the entire North voted, and the person won. That is Mr. President Obasanjo. And that was repeated in 2023. Now, in the case of our dear President, President Muhammadu Buhari, one would say the party at the North voted. It's not true. It was the entire Nigerians that voted for him, because at the point, the outgoing president miscalculated and wanted to go back. And if he went back, he would have gone beyond 8 years. So morally speaking, it was wrong for him to have contemplated going back. And so that was why the people of Nigeria, North, West, even East, had to vote Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari. So in this case, if APC that has the leadership, that has the future of this country, does get somebody from the South, one, it will make for nation building, confidence among ethnic nationalities. It will make for brotherliness. It will also bring robust peace and development. I can tell you that if that happens, the entire Nigeria will be happy with Mr. President. That is going to be the highest legacy that Mr. President will give to Nigeria, that he will now zone this to Southeast and ensure that Southeast is rallied around to produce the president. Even international communities, the US, France, even the UK, they will be happy. It will be an interesting thing. And they will celebrate Mr. President that he has done what no man, an ordinary Nigerian wouldn't have done. You know, I'm sure that as an elder statesman who has seen it all, a two-time president, so to speak, and of course, former head of state, if he does that, he will be celebrated across the continent. And let me tell you, if that happens too, some countries in Africa will learn a lesson. Part of the problem in Sudan, in Cameroon, in other countries of Africa is because of issue of neglect to some ethnic nationalities, you know, all of this conflict, lack of confidence. And if we lead by example as a nation, as APC, it is going to spell good omen to the future of this continent.
All right, Mr. Orji, let's move on to a recent development. So one of Governor Umahi's close allies, Honorable Vincent Dike, has made a decision to leave the APC for the Labour Party under claims of alleged intimidation. How does this decision impact the position of other party stalwarts and allies? And could you speak to these claims of intimidation that have been highlighted?
I didn't get you right, please. Can you mention the person? I didn't get the name.
So I'm talking about a recent development with one of Governor Umahi's close allies, Honorable Vincent Dike, who has made a decision to leave the APC for the Labour Party under the claims of alleged intimidation. How would you say that this decision impacts the position of other party stalwarts and allies? And could you also speak to these claims of intimidation that have been highlighted? Are you aware of this walkout?
Far from. I do not know the details of this allegation. Okay. But in the area of intimidation, I can tell you that our governor is the most inclusive governor. I believe that we should allow all parties to have their way. I believe also that in Ebonyi State, we have got no problems. Any other party that is coming to claim that they are contesting, they are just mushrooms. We have gone really far in ensuring that we deliver the dividends of democracy to the people. They have said that wherever the governor goes, they shall go. So people have right to express frustrations. After even at the national level, we have people expressing frustrations. Would you say that is the cause of the president, that people are expressing frustrations? So it is part of the game. People can lay accusations, however false they are. I can tell you that my governor is one that is really focused. His eyes are on the ball, ensuring that he delivers APC 100% in Ebonyi State, no more, no less. So whoever is making an allegation should please go and pick his cloth from where he took his bath. That's what I can say about that.
All right, Mr. Uchenna Orji, we want to thank you for joining us on the morning show today, Honorable Commissioner for Information and Orientation at Ebonyi State. We wish your candidate the very best in the hope that he's one of the 13 that will be contesting for the APC flagship on Monday. Thank you so much.
Thank you.